All right, so welcome back to We Grown Now, Season 2, Episode 2 of the podcast. And today we're going to be talking about what to expect coming out of college and the expectations and just reality of coming out of college. So I have three special guests, Isaiah, Smart, and Shanika. And y'all, my putting out y'all socials, Smart.
Hey, the Isaiah Smart, theisaiahsmart, all together, no special punctuations.
Devin.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Wesby underscore. That's WESBY underscore.
And mine is Lacheyy with three Y's. That's Lacheyy.
And before we get started, y'all don't mind telling them when y'all graduated and the school y'all graduated from?
In the same order, I graduated in 2014, December 2014 specifically, from Valdosta State University.
Same. Valdosta State University. I graduated in 2016.
I graduated May 2014 from Valdosta State University.
Okay. And me personally, I graduated from UNCG 2023 graduate, So today we're going to be talking about expectations coming out of college, like I said. And just to start us off, the first question would be coming out of college and knowing that you just finished 4 years of school. What are the expectations now that you out of school? Like, what do you think is your life is going to be planned out to be, or what were you thinking your life would be set up to be right after school? Whoever want to, jump in on that.
I'll go.
I mean, go ahead, yeah, I let the
All
4 year
right.
people go first.
Okay, so going into college, I was definitely told, well, before going into college, you got to either go to college or go to the military. In my mind, I had to be done within those 4 years, and so I did that. I expected to go ahead and get a job as soon as I got out because that was what I was told or what I thought I was supposed to do. So my expectations was to graduate, get a job. I really didn't know what that was going to be at that point, but I just knew I had to do that.
Okay. And so, so when you graduated, go like you get a job and everything happened the way you wanted it to happen? Like, did it sit?
Yeah, I mean, I graduated in May. I got a job in July. So I did what I wanted to do. So in the bigger picture, yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay. And Smart?
Me, for me, I didn't have a set expectation about getting out of school. Kind of in the same breath as Shanika, the either one go to college or B go to the military thing. It wasn't pressed in my house, but the general expectation is, of course, hey, you go in and get out in 4 years. Um, but as soon as I got to school, I started kind of getting involved and talking to a lot of different people, from students to faculty and staff. And it was quickly, like very quickly within the first couple of weeks, um, already given to me that, hey, it may not be 4 years. At that point, when we were all coming into school, the average was 5 to 6. It may actually still be that number, I'm not sure, but the average was about taking the 5 to 6 years for the common average person to get out of school. So it was already kind of given to me, like, hey, if it's not 4, don't worry about it. I ended up doing, I guess 4.5 technically. I would have graduated with Shanika because we had the same fall start date, but I took one more semester because I added some extra classes. I had a dual certificate that I was pursuing with like mass media along with my journalism degree. So it just took a semester more. But I didn't have any like expectations of it having to be 4 years. And I encourage, when I became an orientation leader, I encourage a lot of people to not worry about what it looks like for you versus somebody else. Just finish it. Like, you might start and get to, do 2.5, 3 years and have some type of roadblock, family, financial, whatever, and then might not be able to come back for a couple of years. But just finish it. That's all that really matters.
Okay, you can go.
Yeah. So I think I have just a slightly, different perspective. Being that I I did take closer to 6 years to graduate. You know, via changing majors and things like that. So, the 4 year thing was definitely the plan, right? You walk in and you think 4 years, 22 years old, I'll be done. I have a job and I start living life like I'm supposed to. That's what you walk into college thinking. And if that works out, great. A lot of my friends, it did work out for, and a lot of them it didn't. But for me, it didn't quite go that way. I changed majors a couple times and switched what I wanted to do. So by the time I walked out of graduation, I had a more realistic view of things. I had several friends that had already graduated and either did or did not have jobs and was trying to figure out life. So for me, if we want to fast forward to when I actually graduated, my viewpoint was a little bit more realistic because I had seen people do it. I had watched people get out and struggle to find jobs, even though they were very qualified. And I had watched people get out and find jobs immediately. And then a lot of people ended up jumping right back into school um, because they couldn't like really figure out what they wanted to do. They went back to school and things like that. Um, so, for me, like I said, just kind of piggybacking on what everybody else was saying, like college was not an option for me. I never really knew that there was a secondary option. Realistically, until I got to high school, I honestly did not know that everybody didn't go to college until I got to like late middle school, high school. So it was a bit of a culture shock for me that people didn't go to college. Um, but with that being said, like I said, I definitely expected to go in 4 years for, in and out. I'm glad I did. I think it made things better for me, for sure. And like I said, the friends that I had that graduated before me definitely gave me some insight into what life would offer me right out of college. I was lucky enough to get a career type job 2 months after officially graduating. But like I said, I did take a couple extra years to graduate.
Okay, so within those 6 years of graduating, like within those 6 years of taking to graduate, did you feel like I know it was like sometimes you feel like this may not. Did you ever feel like this may not be for me, or it's just taking me a little bit longer to get to my destination?
Nah, my time in college was all self inflicted, man.
Mm.
I'm a realist and I'm pretty good. I pride myself on being pretty good at self reflection. I don't I never thought it wasn't for me. Like I said, it was all self inflicted, meaning, I'm getting halfway through something, getting to my sophomore year, and then deciding that I want to switch majors, right? And then in switching that major, it kind of puts you back at the beginning because it was a totally opposite field that I switched into. So didn't realize the impact that would have. And then going through that new major, just not really putting my all into it, kind of just breezing through it, getting more and more comfortable in the area that I was in, you know what I'm saying, making slightly younger friends. And so they are seemingly at the same point as you are, um, even though they started a year or two after you, things like that. It's a lot of things that comes with in the college life, especially on campus. So just different friends in different walks of life make you just not be as rushed about the situation. And so I didn't never feel like it wasn't for me. I always knew I was going to graduate. It took some different things to push me to that point.
Okay, and Devin talked about it in his first point about like getting straight out of school and finding a job. What would y'all say to someone who's struggling to find a job? Because for me personally, I'm just fresh out of college and I'm still looking for something in my field personally. Like, would you tell that person to still like go after your major, whatever you were majoring in, or just try to find a job that like you have a degree, try to find something for right now, and then try to build upon your experience later because no, don't rush it. Or what would you tell someone?
I'm a big proponent on just taking your time and not rushing through things as much as possible because you don't really you end up not really getting what you're looking for, what you want in that particular arena. Like when you do that, then you just start kind of be willing to take anything or do anything that may not really meet your goals. So what I will say is that and depending on what your area that you're looking to go into, you kind of know when you graduate, it may be more difficult to get here. So somebody who, may be going into some type of medical route, you may not become that travel nurse as soon as you graduate. It might take some time. You might have to do some extra clinical work or some things of that nature. But if it's somebody else that, may be, political science and they want to be a cop or they want to do something else. Like you just gotta kind of know your trajectory as you're going through that major, so that you can kind of set realistic goals. So if it makes sense, then yeah, go ahead and take something to like be an adult and be sustainable. It's okay to work retail or be a server somewhere or work a job that doesn't align with your career interests at first, but don't stop working towards that if you're truly passionate about it. And then before I pass it off to someone else, also just don't be afraid to pivot, whether it be personally or whatever kind of drives you there. Sometimes you may go to school and you may spend 10 years trying to be a doctor and you may have a passion for it, but then after being a doctor for a couple of years, you might decide you want to be a chef, and don't let, a parent or a family member or a friend tell you like, hey, that's not your passion. You shouldn't do that. You spend all your time and money here. All right, well, I'm done with that, and that's okay. It's okay to shift and pivot just because you did work hard to get somewhere else. Your interests, our interests in career goals and our passions can and will change as humans. So do what you got to do to sustain yourself, but don't be afraid to pivot when it makes sense to.
Okay, and kind of real question. I ain't trying to interrupt you, but just expanding on that, what would you say for you? Like, what would you say with somebody that's rushing, feel like they need to get it like right after they get out of school? Like, I need to have this, need to have this done. Instead of like seeing where you at now, like, what would you say if you just want it all like right then and satisfaction right there?
That's what I was about to say. I forgot to mention. So with me going into college, although I was told that you have to either go to college or the military, I had no clue what I wanted to do going into college. So I went in undecided. I think I stayed undecided as long as I possibly could, maybe like sophomore year. And then I picked a major, sociology, and I stuck with it, and I got a job in my field right after college. With that, I enjoy the job or have enjoyed the job, but I really want to do something different or have wanted to do something different. So it is like one of those things where I feel stuck because I stuck with it for so long and have been doing
Yeah.
it for so long. But I definitely agree with Smart with, if you feel like it's something else that you want to do it, like look into it. Don't feel pressured to stay into that field just because oh, that's what I got my major in. So yeah, although I did get out of school and got a job in my field, I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, I want to do something else, but all my experience is in this same field, and so I'm in a position where I'm having to find or go back to school, or at least try to go back to school to do something different. So
Okay. Do you know exactly what you want to do at this point in time, like after like what you're doing now, or do you like you're just trying to test the waters out?
um I would say both, testing the waters. I looked into or wanted to get into human resources, and that was something that I kind of thought about even when I was in school. But and during from graduating undergrad, there was times in between where I went to go get my master's, but that just didn't work out for me. So definitely wanting to do more, into that field.
Okay, okay. And so now that you guys are a lot older than where you were back then.
A lot older, boy. God, you wild, ain't you?
Older,
Wait, hey, man, calm down, buddy.
and you're much wiser. I was gonna say, do you feel like so for people who expect to have their life relationship goals and everything in front of them, I would say like, what would you tell them? Like, because as far as like somebody could be like, I want to do like, everything isn't realistic to where everybody wants it to be. Like, I want to get married by this age. I want to be this by this age. I want to be. How would you tell them how life is going to pan out and how to navigate life at that, like just going into it?
Hey, man.
Don't expect the things to go how you expect it to go on paper, because it's not.
Listen, have goals, man. Have goals. By all means, have goals for your life, man. That's how you guide yourself, right? Have goals, and then have smaller goals, more attainable goals. That you can actually get to. Um, if you start talking about relationships and, and things like that, and just where you want life to be, that's never gonna be how you plan it out. Like I can tell you what all three of us, like none of us are where we thought we would be right
Right.
now. You know what I'm saying? We might be where we hope we would be. We might not be, but none of us are where we thought we would be.
So really quick, and that's good. So coming out of college, personally for all y'all, if you want to say, where did y'all think y'all would be coming out of college? So like y'all can tell us like how did y'all think life would pan out, but versus how it is now and where y'all are at now.
Career wise or like
If you
relationship.
want to start like just like when you're a kid, you start talking about like just everything, and then you just see how life hit you.
Now,
So
I had a real simplistic view. If you take me back to my teenage years as to what I should be doing, by this time. If you would have asked me then, I was gonna leave my very small town that all y'all know about. I was gonna go to college. I was gonna make good friends, and I was gonna leave there in 4 years, come back to my very small town, and probably get one of the skeezers that was there, and go work at my high school, and I was like I planned on being a very regular dude, man. You know what I'm saying? And life ain't had that for me, bro. I learned a lot, man. I discovered money. I discovered relationships. I discovered people. Things that I was not aware of when I was young and I was making these plans for my life, man. So, the age that I should have graduated college would have been 22 years old. In my head, by the time I was 23 or 24, I should have had it all together. I should have had me a chick. I should have had a baby. I should have had, the whip sitting on them things. I should have had the crib already or my mama crib. I should have had all of that by 24, bro. And all of you guys can attest that I didn't have none of that shit by 24 except the baby. So it's just being real.
okay,
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, for sure, expected out of college, married, kids. Now, that did happen for me, but are we in that same situation? Absolutely not. But
okay,
yeah, like you just expect life to go one way and it goes a completely different way. And for the better, I would say it hasn't always been, horrible, but we get into a good space, even though it wasn't what I expected it to be.
okay,
I'll say I honestly didn't have my expectations weren't like personal life or relationship based. My expectations and goals were more career based.
okay,
I didn't really care about a timeline about what age I'm going to be married, what age I'm going to have kids, and have my own house and stuff like that. I was just aiming to be, somewhere doing magazine writing for some major music outlet, Rolling Stone, Double XL, Vibe, you name it. So career based, I was looking at somewhere within the first 3 or 4 years out of college, I would be doing that. Um, Fast forward to now, I'm engaged with a kid, and it wasn't just in my plan. Like I knew that kids and marriage and all that stuff would come, but I just didn't put a place as to where it would be. So, and to the question right before that, it's ironic that we're kind of talking about this particular part because I threw on the shirt today, not even like honestly prepared for some of the questions, but change is constant, right? And it's like you're going to Devin's point, like you may have had for people who are already out of college and people who are in college, you may have a plan right now, but I mean, if you believe in a higher power, your plan isn't his plan. If you don't believe in a higher power and it's the universe or you atheist, whatever, and you think it's all manifestation, it's all on you, well, when it's all on you, it's still some things that you can't control. If
yeah,
somebody decide not to hire you, it don't matter how good your resume look. They just didn't pick you.
yeah,
And so that with those things in mind, like you just have to be able to adjust even in that. You can be well prepared for whatever your goals are and whatever your time frame is, but if everything else around you doesn't align with your goals and plans, you just got to be able to adjust and navigate that. So be prepared to meet and hit all your earmarks when you have them, short term goals, long term goals, big ones, small ones, but things are going to change.
yeah.
And you just got to be able to kind of just shift and navigate with it and roll with the punches or, get it back in your lane the way you want it to be. So,
Okay, and just going into like just further expansion on that, it's just like, with your lives now, are you would you change anything about it, or how you went about getting to where you are? Like anything past for what you did like in the past, or is everything good? Like you would rather this be like how it went down?
I mean, just hopping out there first, man. I would say, kind of what Smart was saying, man. If you believe in higher power, man, you understand that everything is part of your journey. The wins, the losses. I mean, even if you don't believe in higher powers, I mean, if you believe in the universe, either way, um, the wins and the losses, they make you who you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that if I did not take the time to do and make the mistakes that I made, that I would be where I am. For sure. I think some of my mistakes or missteps in my journey motivated me to do better in other areas. So I wouldn't trade it, man. Like I said, the pain when you go through pain, it always tells you like, oh, I don't want to do this again. But somewhere along the way, man, it pushed you. And made you stronger in some other part of your life. So nah, you got to roll with the punches, man. I wouldn't change a thing.
I
Mhm.
agree. I think just the looking back, it's easy to say, "Oh, I would do this," or "I would, wouldn't do this differently." But like Devin said, everything happens for a reason, and you just got to kind of take those as life lessons. And I think with that, you things will be fine. The only thing that I would change for myself is expectations from other people, letting that affect what I'm doing, where I'm going, and just kind of letting that take over any decisions that I've made. That's the only thing that I would, really change as far as that. Or I wish I could, look back and say, hey, what is it that you want to do? Like, let's not put those expectations of others on yourself because that really can cause some issues. So,
That's true. And I do echo that everything happens for a reason sentiment. But over like the last maybe like 2 or 3 years, I have kind of been thinking about, what would I have done differently, if anything. And I do think there are like some small incremental decisions that I made or didn't make that may be a sense of pride or a sense of ego, where I feel like, I've done what I should have done and could have done. I don't need to do more here. Or I know I deserve this particular thing. And some of it honestly just might be it might just be a sense of kind of like blind faith without maybe the proper work, by putting too much belief in, oh, it's going to happen for me because I did everything and it didn't. Not knowing, at that particular point, that wasn't in God's will for me,
Mhm.
or God's timing for me. And there are certain points, and I know we all got them, and we all will have them if we don't have them already. There are going to be certain points where it's like, nah, man, like I thought, I really hoped and really thought that I was prepared and thought I kind of lined everything up the way I was supposed to, and then God is like, yeah, sorry, kid, that wasn't for you. Um, and I've been there, and I think I've been there. I know I've been there a lot. So now it's just a matter of when you kind of get to that realization, it gets to a point where now it's like, all right, well, if that's not what was in the will, what is?
Mhm.
Because I want that. I'm tired of waiting on what I think is right for me and trying to keep etching and building and digging and building towards those things, and they keep falling. Well, if they're falling or they're not coming together for whatever reason, why? So that's when you need to start kind of like listening more and finding the way to get the answers of, all right, well, if that's not for me, what is, and how can I get there, and what do I need to do? So that's
For sure.
what that answer looks like for me.
Okay. Okay. And one of my last questions before we like kind of exit out of the podcast, just before the show is, what has been the best thing about getting older? That's like from younger, you're a little like we're just like don't know as much as we know now. As you get wise, what's been the best thing about getting older and just learning everything that you've learned?
to piggyback on what I just said, I don't say I don't care what people think about me, but I make my decisions for me and my child and what's best for us at this point in my life. And as you get older, I think that comes with that territory. I like not really caring what people think about what I got going on. I'm just doing what I feel is best for me and my kid at this point.
Okay, I feel that. Okay, but
Repeat the question for me real
I
quick,
was gonna
because
say,
I know my answer, but I just want to make sure I answer your question right.
no, I was gonna say, what do you feel like is like the best thing about getting older? Like something you know, and like you a lot wiser. What do you feel like is the best thing about like just getting an agent and like just agent basically?
Bro, nothing. That the real answer is nothing. But here's the context to that. Personally, not that I know everything, but a lot of what we talk about in terms of like just general wisdom, I feel like I have or have had in whatever degree, whether that be by personal experience with friends and family, my connection to being a Christian, whatever combination of those two things are. I don't think I really learned anything in that aspect in these last few years that I didn't already know. Honestly, bro, like growing up is a trap. It's nothing you can really avoid, but it's expensive. It's a lot of stuff that you can't prepare for. Even when you think you're ready, you're not ready. You just gotta just roll with it day to day. And this is something that nobody really talks about and tells you, and that's what the point of this podcast is. So yeah, bro, having a kid, you can be as prepared as you think you're gonna be. You're gonna not be ready.
Ever.
Getting married to somebody, being in a long term relationship, people change all the time, bro. Even the people that you love the most. So
Every day.
you might like this young woman or this young man, whoever y'all dating, and for the first 3, 4, 5 years, they might be this one way, and then for the next 4 or 5 years, they might be another way. And if y'all can't find that out and figure that out together, then y'all separate, and you're not gonna know that until then. Like you be like, dang, this wasn't who you were 5 years ago, but am I supposed to be the same person I was 5 years ago? So honestly, bro, like the answer is nothing. Like the government is a failure. Like we in consistent crisis across the board. You just gotta stay prayed up, man, and just
Yeah.
have some good loving friends, and that's it.
I'm gonna try to straddle the fence, man, and fall in between my two counterparts here, man. I kind of echo both sentiments, you know. On one side, I do think just the wisdom of what we've been through, and how we are as a result of those things. You know, that could be the cool part about getting older, right? Like, I am who I am because of the things that I've been through and because of the people that I went through them with. So like, I enjoy just looking back, you know what I'm saying, and seeing what certain situations, and certain people, you know, how they helped me, how I helped them, and how we came to be. You know what I'm saying? So, that part is cool about getting older. And on the other side of that fence, man, yeah, it's a whole bunch of BS, man. It seems like the world is content on falling apart now that we grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, where was all this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like 30 years ago with the fucking boomers, and you know they done ruined the country. But you know we ain't gonna get political here. But um, you know, it's a whole bunch of stuff that just seemed like it's happening now. And I was like, hey, ain't none of this happened to our folks, bro. Like, why the world go in every other week while when we get grown?
That's
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
all. That's all I'm saying. Is
You know, like it's really tough out here, man. And then you get old, you turn 30, your knees start popping and stuff like that, man.
Listen.
So, you know, even when you're in the gym, it still be tough out here, bro. You know, your brother still got loose ankles. You know what I'm saying? Because he keep trying to hoop, but you know, it just. But nah, other than that, man, like all jokes aside, bro, that's the only thing you can be happy about is just seeing where you are, seeing where you came from, and knowing that there's more to go, man. You know what I'm saying? And fighting for that, because I mean, looking back is cool, but moving forward is the name of the game, right?
that's true, man. I will say that honestly, particularly for those who are listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, for those of us that are black in the audience, all of us know what those stipulations and stereotypes look like to one degree or another. And making it to 18, to college, to 25, to 30, every waking up, honestly, bro, like, and you can put this on a lot of different layers of understanding. Waking up and aging is a beautiful thing. And this is one thing you can't take for granted. I'm blessed to have people like Devin, Shanika, Craig, and the rest of us. I have a smaller family, so my friends I truly look at as my family. And like Devin said, like a lot of like going through some of this stuff with people consistently that that we can grow together. and learn together. Just literally the experience of some of this stuff, and to be able to make it through out around, still be in some of it, but having some type of support system and all of that is a beautiful thing for sure. So like to a lighter note, on a better, more optimistic side of my answer, aging and growing up day to day is something that you just don't take for granted, because you'll wake up tomorrow and you'll see something about a high school classmate that didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? And I know I lost high school classmates year after year through high school up until probably the last year or two. So, family and friends, like I said, all this war and calamity, pandemics, we run into something every couple of weeks, it seems. So take what you can get and then make the best out of it.
All right. And I thank y'all all for the advice. And I'm gonna say a little spiel at the end, kind of towards y'all all my like brothers, friends, and like close family. Like you consider y'all family. And so I think the coolest thing about y'all giving advice, and the coolest thing for me is like I just got out of college. I'm worried. I'm kind of worried because I do see what's happening in the world, but I also do like I want the best for myself, and I see myself and like I want to see myself succeed in all the ways. And so, like, what I will say is, like, the best thing about what kind of takes away the pressure for me is, like, I've seen y'all grow up. And I'm not saying I'm older than y'all. Y'all, of course, older than me. But, like, I was hanging out with y'all when I was really little. And, like, seeing where y'all were and where y'all at now, it's, like, very encouraging the way y'all handling, like, y'all kids, careers. Like, Devin having a new house, Smart, your business, your brands. Shanika, the way you handle your kids is amazing. But all y'all. But
One.
just the way.
Kid,
Just
kid. She said kid.
hold up, singular.
Just the way
Yeah.
y'all handle it, it's very encouraging, like to see what y'all are doing, and just like it gives me hope. Like even with my brother, like the way he handles adversity and steady get back up and like get back on his feet. So it's a blessing to have y'all in my life and just in my life, and just to have y'all on the podcast means a lot.
Not to extend your time, bro, but this is a piece of my message, I guess, for you, and anybody like that feels like they're kind of where you are coming fresh out of college, man. Take full advantage of where you are, bro. Take full advantage of that. I know that sounds like a broad statement, but um, you're in this unique position, man, where you're young, black, educated, man. You know what I'm saying? And you got the world at your feet. It might not feel like it when you have these different pressures coming down on you, man. But like at the end of the day, bro, you can get up and go, move, do what you want to do. Don't be scared to fail, bro. This, and like I say, this for you and anybody else who might be listening is in your situation. Don't be scared to fail, man, because here's the beauty of your situation right now, bro. You are responsible for you and you. You know what I'm saying? That is a beautiful situation. This is coming from three parents right here. Being responsible for yourself and yourself only. I'm sure your brother, like, can attest to some of that too. Like having responsibility is what changes things for you. You know what I'm saying? Take all the chances you can take right now. You know what I'm saying? All the chances you can take, because if you fall flat on your face, you got people like us and you got people like your family who's going to be there for you. And nobody is going to look at you and blame you for failing when you